At the PCGS Set Registry luncheon during the ANA show in Chicago, attendees received a special treat. They witnessed the induction of the 2011 class of the PCGS CoinFacts Set Registry Coin Dealer Hall of Fame. The 2011 class consists of 3 of the greatest coin dealers of the late 20th century and into the new millennium. And best of all 3 were able to take part in the celebration of their colorful and productive careers. They are Harvey Stack, David W. Akers, and Mr. Silver Dollar John Love. The Coin Dealer Hall of Fame was created by David Hall to recognize outstanding dealers past and present who have handled the greatest coins and collections and who have made the most significant contributions to numismatics. The nominating committee is composed of David Hall, Q. David Bowers, John Dannreuther, and PCGS CoinFacts President Ron Guth. Hall, Bowers, and Dannreuther acted as presenters on behalf of the happy inductees. Through this video, you can be on hand with us as we recognize the latest class of giants of numismatics.
A poll was taken and 3 greats have been nominated, and it's my honor to introduce the first one. The first time I met this person was going into probably the only coin store, coin office that today in 2011 was still operating in the same location in 1954-55. And that was Stacks at 123 West 57th Street. And my honoree, I'm going to say a little bit more about him, is Harvey Stack, Harvey G. Stack. Harvey has been a professional numismatist since 1947. Grew up, cut his teeth in numismatics because his father and uncle, Joe and Morton Stack, founded Stacks in 1933. And he assisted with the first ANA grading service, but we won't talk about that now because Harvey and I both assisted by telling them they're doing it wrong, which we got a lot, but they wound up doing okay. He's a recipient of the Medal of Merit, not on this sheet, but he is personally responsible for the state quarter program. He was an early advocate of it and suggested that that be done. But helping build the Smithsonian Institution, the American Numismatic Society, president of the PNG, and much more. It's been my privilege to know Harvey for well over 50 years, maybe 60 years, and to be sitting next to him today. And Harvey, come up and say hi.
Stacks made me a numismatist. I started out in life as an indentured slave because I was brought down until I was, while I was still in public school and high school, to sit and sort coins. And when I say indentured slave, no compensation, just coming to help us out. And I met a lot of the collectors, dealers of the 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s and so on, who used to frequent our shop. And that was one of the things I believe that helped make coin collecting what it is. I've tried to advocate that among the way. I feel that things like a dealer cannot just be a vendor, he must be a helper, he must listen to what the collector is telling him. I mean, I remember when I sat with Dr. Sheldon, when he was doing the Anderson DuPont coins, and he would sit and look he would teach me from 4 in the afternoon to 11, 12 o'clock at night when he came down from his hospital duties and was cataloging the collections for us. What he told me each time stuck with me in the same way with other collectors, whether they collected small cents or they collected $50 gold. I had the pleasure of personally helping many, many major collections. I was very close to Louis Eliasberg Jr. because he was so senior, I should say, as well as junior, but senior because he started with my parents and my uncle in the collecting, and then later on, the parents and uncle turned it over to the younger generation. My 2 cousins, unfortunately, have passed away. They were great helps in helping build Stacks, and I'd like them to be remembered also as great, great numismatists. They were great losses to me, and I would say that it was important for me to have them. I'm lucky I still have my son in the business, and he keeps me on the straight and narrow sometimes, and I think I need that sometimes. I enjoyed taking up different campaigns, whether it be for, as David so generously said, the first coin grading, and also I was at the on the Hobby Protection Act Committee. I did a lot of these things because I wanted to. My first fight actually was with the Treasury Department in 1967, when we had impossible ways of bringing gold into the United States. And we took them on at 1-to-1. And I engaged experts like the Smithsonian Institute to help me, to say collecting is collecting and not a bunch of hoarding or just holding a bunch of gold coins. And we got the thing rescinded and all. So through the years, I've tried to do this, and I hope to be able to do it. I'm really honored, though, to be among the names of that predeceased, both David and myself, to be on the same panel now with David and the other two nominees, who, thank God, we're all alive. And let's say we can stay around and see if we can continue helping you. I want to thank you again very much. Thank you.
If you were to ask me who are the top 5 technical numismatists for die varieties, for authentication, for expertization of United States coins, this person would be in that, among those 5. He might be number 1, I'm not sure. I look to him very often. He is a founder of a principal of PCGS way back when. John Dannreuther, who doesn't call himself John, J.D. Dannreuther. Where are you, J.D.?
Our next recipient I've known since I've been in the coin business since the 70s. He's handled virtually every coin in the Red Book. That he handled, to me, one of the greatest collections of all time, although it's not really considered that because it was so specialized. But in 1973, he bought from Mike Brownlee and Julian Liedman the Dr. John Wilkinson pattern collection. And patterns were, when I got back into the coin business, are the coolest coins, because these are coins that we never issued. But they have some of the most beautiful designs. And the pattern gold collection that he bought was just so amazing. It contained the unique Judge 1776, the Indian Head 20. It contained a 6-piece set of Amazonian gold coins. All 6 of them are unique, plus many other rarities in the pattern series. But what he did when he bought this collection was he cubed it. He transformed it because he traded several of the coins, and I'm not sure exactly, he probably could tell you exactly which coins he traded, for Redfield dollars. Redfield silver dollars. And those of you who are not familiar with the Redfield collection, in 1973, A-Mark bought the Redfield collection for 7.6. Yeah, David Hall and Q. David Bowers bid sight unseen on the Redfield deal. They were not allowed to see what was in it. And I believe Stax did the original appraisal for it. And so he not only bought this collection of gold patterns, but he traded them for Redfield dollars and promoted those. The next recipient is a good friend of mine. I'm glad to call him a friend, David W. Akers.
Thank you very much. When David Hall called me a few days ago and said that I was going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, I said, well, I was kind of surprised that anybody would be voting for me with all the other great dealers that are both from the past and are currently dealers, to be perfectly honest with you. So I'm very humbled to be picked in at the same time as Dave Bowers, Harvey Stack, and our other recipient, and not only that, the famous people who preceded us. When I started off in coins, I was just a little kid and didn't have any money to buy any coins, but I just loved the study of them. And so what I did was I contacted most coin dealers that I saw in ads and in the Numismatist, Numismatic Scrapbook, and things like that, to get some of their opinions and some of their advice. And everybody was nice to me, from Jim Kelly to the Stacks, to Abner Kreisberg, Dave Kossov, all those people. But one person in particular was particularly kind to me, wrote me letters. His name was Jerry Cohen. Now, Jerry Cohen left us 20-something years ago. He was a fantastic guy. He started off in his professional coin business as Old Pueblo Stamp and Coin. That was in Tucson, Arizona. And he later became partners with Abner Kreisberg in Beverly Hills. But he wrote me letters, and I called him a couple of times. I'm 12, 13 years old at that time, telling him something that I wanted to buy. And he said, David, I says, I don't, well, actually, he always called me Mr. Akers, even though I was 13 years old. And he said, this would be a nice coin. He says, I've got something, a better recommendation for you. And he made those recommendations, and I always took his word for it. Now we fast forward through college days for me, military career, college professor, and then I became a coin dealer. And I became very good friends with Jerry as an adult. And I asked him at one time, I said, I told him, I said, this was such a wonderful thing to spend any time at all or attention on somebody who was 13 or 14 years old. And he said, well, I did it because you just never know what somebody's going to turn out to be. He says, look at you. And so I think all of us have that obligation who are dealers to talk to the young people, because you never know who the next Hugh David Bowers is going to be, for example. And you want to be sure that you support those kind of people. And also I've learned a great deal from many of the other people I mentioned. Abner Kreisberg, Lester Merkin was another favorite of mine, Harvey Stack, and the other member of the Stack firm, Norman Stack. And there was never anybody I learned more technical stuff about coins from than Norman Stack. And so, and collectors, as David Hall said, the people who specialize in particular areas are great ones to learn from. And so I've always tried to get as much information as you can from whatever source it could come from. When I was getting ready to come, I don't come to very many coin shows, those of you who know me. I don't come to many coin shows anymore, 2 or 3 a year. I was getting ready to come to this show, and my wife said to me, she said, why do you want to go to a coin show? You've seen just about everything anyway. And I said, well, everything that I've seen before that I liked, I want to see it again. Everything that I haven't seen, and that's most of it, I want to learn as much about it as I can. So I go. She never can quite understand that, but it's been a good life for us, and so she now agrees that it was probably a good deal after all. But anyway, it's been a great career for me. I've enjoyed it. I never thought I would ever be in the coin business on a full-time basis. So I started off as a collector. I've been 40 years as a dealer. Now I'm back to David Akers, coin collector again. That's what most of you are, and I'm now again one of you. So thank you very much again. I appreciate it. Next year, I guess I get to vote for. I want to be one of the voters for who gets inducted next year. I'll make some other real good choices of people who are every bit as deserving as the nominees this year, and maybe in my case, maybe even more so. Thank you very much.
And one dealer through that entire period stands above all others. He was Mr. Silver Dollar in 1965, in 1975. When Redfield came out, of course, he was one of the major movers. In 1985, in 1995, in 2005, and still today, he is the silver dollar market. So, my great privilege to induct into our Coin Dealer Hall of Fame, Mr. Silver Dollar, one of the greatest coin dealers of all time, John Love.
Well, first of all, I'm not much of a speaker. But I have to tell you, being from Montana, they had a lot of silver dollars. And I never will forget the time in the Great Falls Bank, there was a bag of 94 S's. Now in that bag happened to be about 38 93 S's. My very first one I bought from the lady was $2,800. And I still have ads in 64, 63 and stuff like that when I was selling them for $3,500, $4,500 and so forth. It's been quite a ride for me. By the way, we were the other side of the Redfield. I never will forget sitting in that, oh gosh, courtroom, and the bids were going up 100,000 a pop. And we were out of money with the last 100,000, but they didn't know that. Between Leon Hendricks and Gerard Bank and Markoff and myself and Jules Karp, we bought probably the finest collection of just different dollars that I'd seen in a long time. Like 90 S's were only $18 a piece at that time. And so, consequently, the circulated dollars that were in there were actually more valuable than the BU dollars. And in my early days, I could take 20 different bags, I could pick them up and tell you which bag I wanted. And it wasn't the new bag. Because you would find everything in the world in them. You'd open them up, you'd find 59 O's, 60 O's, half a bag of 78 cc's, the whole works. So it's just like you in here. Everybody enjoys this. It's a hunt. You guys are hunting for the finest. Everybody enjoys opening something and seeing what kind of thing they can get. Just like opening a Cracker Jack box. We'll open a bag of dollars that nobody's seen the same way. So anyway, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me, David. And thank you very much.